cloud storage technologies and interpretation technologies available. So the section of so the question that can lead to the solution is, where will the data generated from sensors be stored? So the answers can lead us to the computing versions of cloud. Now there are lots of advantages about cloud. There are lots of features about cloud. Some of them can be pooling. You can get on-demand self-services. It's economical. It's like pay as you go. There are some lots of network access available, and lot many things. I'll be moving a bit quick because I want to show you the practical demonstration and hands-on about few protocols. Skipping sections. Cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources. That can be some network servers, storage devices, and many more, which are always scalable in nature. Like you can go on adding some spaces, storage spaces to your available pool of access. The concepts, again, the same for storage, for accessing the data whenever you require, also for some computation, and many more. So characteristics, which I already discussed: on-demand self-services, broader network access, some resource pooling and things. You get elasticity, some measured service, and all. There are few service models of cloud. I know I'm going a bit fast, but these concepts are more of theoretical, so I won't be going into much depth, and I'll be going at the same pace. If you feel any questions at any point of time, you are free to just query at that specific time. Uh, Three service models: SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. Those are software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Now there are various models of clouds which provides us software as a service, like Gmail itself. There are some models which also provide platforms as a service. You can deploy your different Dockers available. You can deploy different application engines and many all things. Infrastructure, they provide complete infrastructure for you to use, like the most known and the most pretty available is the AWS, the Amazon Web Services. Based on deployment models, we can categorize them as four types. The first one is the public cloud, followed by private, hybrid, and community cloud. So when we are talking about the public clouds is like for general public, so anyone will be able to access any of those clouds. The next one is these are the examples of public cloud. There are lots of versions available even in AWS, which you can use for static web hosting. Like you can take an instance of S3. These are few advantages. You can make it scalable. It reduces the cost of you, and the uptime is always 24/7 or 24/7. Reliability can be compromised when you are talking about disadvantages of public cloud. There are risk of data security because, as you are aware, the things which you get for free are not secure at all the points of time. These are the working scenarios of public cloud. This is the one which are provided by the SAM solutions. Jumping into private cloud. Architectures are almost similar, but it's like a specific organization or an internal corporate company owns it. This is used for internal communications, what we can say it like those hosting purposes, and can be managed within this internal organization or team. Same, skipping it. Okay, coming into community cloud. Community clouds can be like between different sets of users, but these are still like more side concerns for using the cloud can be for mission security requirements, policies, compliance, and considerations. Like you have seen, we use Google Drive for. We share it with 3 or 4 of them, like a Google Sheet. I'm preparing some report on, I'm preparing some checklist. I'll be sharing it with 4 of you, and you can combinedly work on it. Again, this is a part of the same thing. These are few advantages. This is a working scenario. Coming to the hybrid cloud, I'll be sharing this specific presentation, so it's easy for you. Let's see what the policy says. Keeping that on stand. Now, moving to hybrid cloud. A hybrid cloud encompasses the best features of above mentioned. So it's public, private, and community at a combination. These are the few deployment models which I discussed: the public, private, community, and hybrid. And these are the comparative analysis of all four of them. I know this is a pure theoretical concept, but these things are important when you will be directly linking your IoT device or your sensors to the cloud supports or the cloud devices which are available. There are few challenges and issues in cloud: privacy, compliance. This can be the major ones. There can be still fewer more. Those can be the reliabilities. And again, privacy and security goes hand in hand. So I can't differentiate both of them. But yes, security, privacy, compliance, and the reliability can be the challenges of few of those cloud things. Sorry, I was a bit quick in this, but I have few more things to be covered. So let me just share my screen again. I want to share a different window. Yes, there are also few more concepts like the city of Toronto is.
बोलो बोलो दोनों का क्या रोल है प्रोजेक्ट में, वो बताओ पहले। आपने क्या काम किया है प्रोजेक्ट में, वो बताओ पहले। हाँ ओके
Sir, you are not audible. Are you?
Someone's mic is on, so maybe I was waiting for that. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Muted, sir.
Great. Thank you. So I was just, this is the most and the important section of the session for cybersecurity. OAP Top 10. It's an organization. Coming to it, IoT security is so hot right now. We all are aware that there are lots of works which are going on it. There are lots of discussions and phase which are going on it. So we are always targeting few sections of IoT. At the same time, when we are talking about all these things, so there were in 2017 there was a Black Hat conference which is more for security. There were 8 talks. If we go on adding, then in 2018 there were 14 talks purely for IoT securities. Same in Black Hat 2019, we have more than 8 talks. I am targeting only the talks which are based on IoT securities. I have been listening to all these talks. I have been going through all the resources available. So at the end, we came to the final and the source target for any of those security researchers or the practitioners are the OAPs. OAP stands for Open Web Application Security Projects. So it has released the top 10 Internet of Things in 2018. The first list was published in 2014, and after then, they were not updated even a single time before 2018. So this is where we are again lacking in creating the compliances and the endpoints for IoT devices and IoT security measures. So work and motivation for the same thing like the IoT vulnerabilities or the attack surfaces are. It all started in 2014 to help developers. The initial goal of OAP's top 10 were to help the developers, manufacturers, enterprise, and the consumers to make better decisions regarding the creation and use of IoT systems. There are a few things which we need to think. The first is, are the gadgets that we are using are secure? Or the things which we are using for our comfort zones are secure? I don't think so, because these 2 screenshots reveal each and everything. There are many of us who are using, okay, Google, please call this. And right now my phone just blinked off by listening, okay, Google. Same way, if we have the Alexa users, we say, hey, Alexa, same for Siri, hey, Siri, and we do whatever we want it. I mean, we tell them to do whatever we want to do it. But according to few reports, these were the reports of 2019 and 2018. The screenshot is only of 2019. So there were few sections which said, like Amazon and Google are listening to your voice recordings. and this is a fact, this was told by an ex-Google employee. The names have not been disclosed. Initially, they were disclosed, but then the names have been kept confidential for some known reasons. The thing is, once you activate a Google Assistant or any of those smart assistants, they always keep on listening. So right now, if I'm saying to you something, if you are listening on in speaker mode, or if you're listening in some other way, if you have some other gadgets linked with it, they definitely might be listening to all the things. तो अब दीवालों के भी कान नहीं, अब गैजेट्स के भी कान होते हैं. All the smart gadgets have ears now, who have smart agents or assistants installed in. There was also a concept of Amazon Ring. We have also seen the Microsoft Nets Russian hackers exploiting flimsy IoT security. I always have been fond of gathering such snippets of newspapers and articles, which I always use in all my awareness programs. So if the things are being reflected to some personal constraints, then I hope that these are only for informational use. Moving ahead, I'll be directly going into OWASP top 10. So the first vulnerability that can be exploited are weak, guessable, or hard-coded passwords. I'm not sure right now how many are joined, but from 41 or 42, at least 10 will be having that password as admin123, or they can be having password as password itself. You all might have seen the video of those guessable passwords which are walking in the streets of New York and New Jersey. Like if you go for a random person, if you ask them what is your password, they might not say. But if you use a technique called social engineering, that is to manipulate human beings to speak out or to plunge out the information, they definitely will be revealing it. There are 80% people in this world who are using their birth date as a part of their password. Name followed by birth date, or their pet name, or their vehicle's number, the number plate. Like let's say if my name is Ramya, then I'll be moving it to Ramya and my birth date, or Ramya @123. These are the normal tendencies. And if you represent these things to a cybersecurity practitioner, they will definitely flew things off, because we use lots of hard-coded password breaking techniques. In general, we call these things as brute force techniques. And the attacks which are performed are called dictionary attacks and rainbow attacks. So any of those IoT gadgets, if you are setting a password for, if you are developing it, if you are creating it, make sure the passwords which you are setting are not easily guessable. Moving ahead, insecure network services. Yes, unneeded or insecure network services running on the device itself. When you don't require a Bluetooth, turn it off. Why to keep it on? Why to waste your battery? It's not only a section of battery, but it's a big more constraint when you're talking about integrity and the authenticity of your device. You are losing or you are compromising your confidentiality, because the Bluetooths are always an open-end connection. There are some devices where you don't require even pairing of things. It's just directly connected. So this can be again a part of a vulnerability for the IoT security and IoT devices or gadgets. The next is insecure ecosystem interfaces. Now, when you are talking about insecure ecosystem is not just the gadgets which you are using, the background of the things which are already going on. Like you don't use proper authorization, you don't use proper authentication. Someone, or at some point of time, anyone can join the session and can say something and go. You might have heard this when you're talking about online sessions. See, I'm trying to link these things with the real examples so that you just get an interaction like, yeah, these things occur. These are the real connectivity or the real connectivities of vulnerabilities, which are a part of attacks. So basically, insecure ecosystem interfaces. Now, when you don't have proper encryption, what happens? The things which you are transferring will get vulnerable, will get open to the public. So this happens when you are talking about encryption over here. Let's say your voice is sending. Right now, we have those features in smartwatch that you can pay from your watch. But what if those encryptions are not secure? Someone can directly perform an MITM, what we call it as man-in-the-middle attack, using any of those tools or open source available tools. and can gain access to all the confidential details which you are possessing. So again, insecure ecosystem interfaces can lead to vulnerability exposure. Moving ahead, lack of secure update mechanism. When you're talking about lack of secure update, I already discussed this point. Like when you're getting updates in your cell phone or any of the gadgets, wearables, devices which you are having, if you don't have regular updates, the things are not secure, guys. You need to think of. अगर मेरे सेल फोन में 3 साल बाद सिक्योरिटी अपडेट्स नहीं आती है तो आई हैव टू थिंक कि देयर शुड बी सम वे टू गेट सिक्योरिटी अपडेट और टू कीप माय थिंग्स मोर सिक्योर. Because to perform a social engineering attack, it hardly takes 2 minutes. Trust me. Even if I share you one link right now, I'm not talking from that bluff things, but this is the thing which I have experienced, which I have learned, which I have performed. I'm not saying like the ones we have in those ethical hacking movies and the conceptualized things. Okay, I'll just do tuk 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 and my cell phone and your cell phone will get hacked. Nothing like that. To be more frank, more secure, there are ways from which I can get access to your system's information. But it's again only and only possible by human manipulation. We call it as social engineering attacks. Use of insecure or outdated components. You should definitely be, as many of you are from the field of computer, I mean all of you probably, you might have always seen we have a concept in cyber security and we have jobs for that. Like secure source code reviewers are paid around 14 to 15 lakhs starting salary per annum for just reviewing the source code in a secure manner. So if you have some libraries which are outdated, which don't have any relevance, or those things are of no use, kindly remove them. Kindly make it more secure. Next, insufficient privacy protection. Users' personal information stored on the device or in the ecosystem that is used insecurely, improperly, or without permission. एक नॉर्मल आदत होती है हमारी. आई एम सॉरी, आई विल बी कमिंग टू इंग्लिश. पर एक हमारी नॉर्मल आदत होती है, जहां पे भी हम जाए, सब्सक्राइब का ऑप्शन दिखे या ऑफर का ऑप्शन दिखे, वी जस्ट गो ऑन एंटरिंग अवर मोबाइल नंबर, वी जस्ट गो ऑन एंटरिंग आवर ईमेल एड्रेस एंड things go out of our end. The reasons are we have not seen actually where we are entering our details. Phishing, it's a best example of exploiting privacy. आपको कोई मेल आया, फेसबुक की नोटिफिकेशन का मेल आया, you just clicked on that notification and what happens? You see an actual page like Facebook, but that's not actual. That's just a phishing component. Same thing happens when you're talking about IoT devices and gadgets. You see an offer that I'll be purchasing this IoT device, you are registered here and you get this much % off. Shopping का एक जो craze है, the craze of shopping, that always leads to damage of our or compromise of our privacy. This is not for targeted audience, this is in general. So if we have IoT device, if we have IoT gadgets, any wearables, any of those things, we have to make sure that even on those devices, we don't enter the informations which are of utmost privacy. Insecure data transfer and storage. At least we should be using proper encryptions and we should be having access. Yes, again, one more thing. When you are using wearables, if you are using smartphones, airport पे चले गए, free Wi-Fi मिला, connect कर लिया. Never do it. Airport पे चले गए, if you get a charging port, you insert your USB cable and you insert that other side in your cell phone and you keep on charging. Don't do it. These are the concepts of juice checking. We call it as juice checking, where there are definitely charges in those stations, but they are not only just charges. They are also used for data transfers. They try to collect your data. These are real scenarios. These have been faced by many of them. Right now, the most prevailing technology for IoTs are drone. Our university has been working on investigation of drones. We have been actively the part of it, like measuring the frequencies. We are working on the projects of Indian Air Force and militaries and many others. But still, there are few things which are not in our control. Like we are not aware about the encryption schema. If there is a drone which is being flown off from some different country, we need to find out its architecture. But still, if we talk about vulnerabilities, the versions might get exploited and we may get access to the data which is stored into that drones. The frequencies might get overlapped. Lack of device management. So lack of security support on devices deployed in production, including asset management, update management, security decommissioning, systems monitoring, and response capabilities. So yeah, again, I discussed this thing. Insecure default settings. We never do this. We never change this. जो default है वैसे ही हम उसको रहने देते. We leave the things as they are in the default nature. If the default settings are that we are giving permission of all the things to a Truecaller application, I'm not sure why we are giving access of camera to Truecaller application. There is no need of it. But it's default, we never change it. Why? Either we don't have enough time or we are not that concerned. Lack of physical hardening.
Sir, I would like to ask, sorry, in
Yeah,
most of the applications, like you said, you don't give permissions for camera, but then those applications are not installed if you don't give the permissions. Similarly, in case of some IoT, when you try to build some IoT applications like Blink or other sources that are there, so there also they ask a lot of things like your phone number, your email ID, when you're not interested in giving it. So what do you do in that case? Because you're compelled to indirectly.
yeah, definitely. I agree for it. And those are the things which always makes us sturdy when you have to use it. But I shouldn't actually recommend it. But on an unofficial way, I can recommend is you can use the temporary available numbers. You can use the temporary systems if and only if those things are for temporary uses. Right. So let's say
Okay.
if you just want an email address to download a thing, don't enter your personal email address, because then you will be you will be a victim of those spam messages or the bulk messages. So try to get a temporary mail. There are lots of them: 10-minute mail, Gorilla Mail, Get Nadas, and hundreds of it. Same way, you also have temporary telephone numbers. So these are the points that which I am discussing is from the viewpoint of developing an application of IoT as well as from the devices which we are using. Yes, ma'am. You are saying some question? Sorry, I interrupted. So now coming to attack surfaces. Let me just clarify what an attack surface is actually. Attack surface is the place where we attack. Like if say if we want to break a glass, then the glass is an attack surface for us, and the thing with which we are going to break that glass. Let's say I have a stick with me, then that stick is called an attack vector. This is the way how I identify things, and most of the cybersecurity practitioners also identify in the same way. So based on an entity scenario, I am trying to link you to few of those attack surfaces. Uh, the prerequisites, IoT architecture, the devices used, the communication channels, we should be aware about it. And when I'm talking about this, let's consider a simple device structure: cloud, device, mobile, and the communication protocol. Only four things. Mobile is an attack surface. Mobile application communicates with IoT ecosystem to send commands and read data, which I'll be showing also in practical. It becomes one of the entry points into the IoT ecosystem. So right now I'm considering the most general type of IoT communication, and I'm trying to explain the attack surfaces for all of them. So what will be the attack surface over here? It can be the storage, it can be the authentication, it can be the encryption, it can be communication, and it can be generic mobile vulnerabilities. You can go on for the list of mobile vulnerabilities. So I'm not mentioned over here. There are lots of OWASP top 10s are available. You can go for secure source code review and lot many things. But these are the in general attack surfaces when you are talking about the cell phone. Second, cloud. Cloud is really an important piece for IoT. But again, we are facing the same issues. Sometimes it happens. What we are doing is we go to Gmail.com, if we are accessing someone's system, we forget to log out. And despite of knowing that I had used Gmail into someone's else system, we don't go back to our system and change the password. It's very easy for people like us to gain that password, even if you are logged out, because the passwords are getting stored in the volatile memory of that system. The volatile memory are the memories which are stored in the RAM dump. So we can easily get access to all those things, even though if you have clicked never save my password. So these things happens. And just imagine if you are having some huge organization where you're using multiple IoT devices and all the communications and transactions are generally done through those IoT devices. What happens to all those communications? They are plainly open to public. But we definitely have more security protocols which are more secure. I'll be coming to one such protocol later on. Devices are a game changer for IoT technologies, and we definitely all agree. But it interfaces with the physical world and also can communicate in the virtual world. The virtual worlds are the worlds of cloud and the internet and the communication protocols as well. So the first stop for physical world data. Right now we have seen smart wearables have all those facilities of making payment through the watch itself. Soon we will be having such features and functionalities that our cryptocurrencies are directly linked to the wallet, and you can access those wallets, or you can just do the transactions between those wallets using our smartwatch and wearables. But there are lots of challenges, there are lots of disadvantages for doing the same. When we're talking about device, there are few things which can be added. The first one is the sensor interface. What if the sensor is manipulated? What if someone physically replicates the sensor? Let's say we have seen in movies. Actually, मैं इसको वो थोड़ा सा I wished I should have taken it from the movie perspective as well. कि the things which we see in movie are only the 50% of what we can implement. But the things are true. Like if we have a CCTV camera, it's again a part of IoT device. If it captures the lab, or if it captures the classroom in a static manner, you can just click a photograph, you can attach it in such a way that no one can distinguish between a photograph and a live session or a live class, except the movements that are not considered. We can consider some ideal cases. So this is the way how sensors can be interfaced. Peripheral interfaces, hardware interfaces, and human machine interface. Human errors can lead to device errors. Device errors can again leads to making things open for public or making things more vulnerable. Communication. It's definitely an intangible attack surface. There are endless list of communication protocols that the IoT ecosystem can use on wired as well as wireless medium. Now, what if the protocols which you have used, the standards have not been followed? Like we have seen, if you go for bug bounty programs which are more prevailing in cybersecurity, you see lots of bounties. $500, $600, $1,000 bounties are available when you find a bug in a cloud service. And to find a bug in a cloud service is very easy. The reason is proper in configuration. The system, the device which you are using, the services or the software which you are using are not configured well. The hardware interface allow for actual communication, but the actual data communication packets or communication or packets are defined by the upper layers which are implemented in the software. But there definitely can be flows, there can be endpoints which can be targeted, there can be places which can be attacked either manually or through some automation systems and manually. I just have few things to be discussed. Sorry, I skipped the slide. The most common protocol which have been used is the HTTP, but the attack surface is definitely huge because HTTP is the most prevailing or the most used communication protocols. But still, as the protocol is in much use, we also have those mitigation techniques available which can save our devices or ourselves from getting exploited. specifically, I mean, generally there are also many protocols available. Some can be domain specific, some can be generic, some can be only and only for efficiency reasons. And history tells us that all protocols will have their share of implementation flaws. हर एक प्रोटोकॉल हर एक चीज में कोई ना कोई खामी होगी, फिर चाहे वो कितना भी सिक्योर IoT डिवाइस हो. And also configuration flaws. And this is the task of penetration tester to search out for those flaws and make those systems more secure. These are some communication protocols which have been used in IoT, different products. The COAP, MQTT, IMQP, WebSockets, CAN bus, DNP3 more used in SCADA systems, the double IoTs or the industrial IoT, if I elaborate it. HL7, XMPP, UPnP, you can also have your own name protocol. It's not that hard. These are the attack surfaces. So when you talk about the storage, you have SD card, USB, non-volatile memory, volatile memory, the microcontroller's internal memory, have the graphical representation of pi in front of you, and this can be the ways of it. If you talk about hardware communication interface, it can be UART, microcontroller, bug port, I2C, SPI, and the sensors. For network, you can have Wi-Fi, Ethernet, radio. Due to lack of time, I'm going a bit faster. I hope you'll be getting through the things. Like, these are not the things which needs to be discussed in depth, but if you go into depth of each and one, it can go for like 10, 12 hours session. Okay, so I'm ending my theory section right now. If you have any questions within that, feel free to ask. If not,
Sir,
then we can
I
move.
wanted to.
Sorry, yeah, go on.
Sorry, no. Sir, I wanted to ask just, I mean, I don't know because I'm from biomedical background, so I don't know much about this. So when we do a lot of, say, money transfers and all that happen. So then as for what you're saying, if my mobile is connected to Wi-Fi, for example, and I'm transferring money to another account or another person, then it is definitely not safe, no? Or is something taken care about?
Okay, this leads to me. This leads me to discussing two cybersecurity concepts over here. I
Also,
don't think so. How prevailing would it be to discuss in the section of IoT? But let's ask like the training
no,
committee is
and
like.
one more thing I wanted to ask. Like I said, I had asked that question about the Bluetooth now.
Hmm?
So that data, say for example, now if I have a Fitbit, I always connect it to my mobile phone, which tracks all the information, right, about how
Okay.
many number
Yeah,
of steps
exactly.
that I've taken, etc., etc. So in
Exactly.
this case now, again, whenever I downloaded that app, it asked me for a lot of permissions,
Yes.
which some I did not feel necessary, but then I had to again. So now in this case, what is the kind of data that the company is going to use or benefit? Because I think there was something about the data involved.
Okay. Yeah. There was also a question like related to the data that companies ask, right? Was it
Yes,
from your end?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
From my end,
See.
yeah.
Yeah. See. Let me come to the point directly. The data are always getting collected, even if you are aware or not. Right now, the things which we are going through are also being recorded, not from our end, from some other ends. This is a brutal fact, and this is a reality which we all have to accept. So when you're talking about devices, it depends on the device which you are using and the approach or the way of using it. Now, if you are taking a Fitbit, let's say if you want to be more secure, then don't try to connect it with your cell phone device. Just use it for measuring the steps within that device itself. This is our in general practices. But what happens with us are like we are always prone to use social media accounts. We are always prone to use all the things in all the possible ways, and based on which we are getting more open to public and we are getting more exploited. Believe me, the best way to exploit any technology is to exploit the human using that technology. And if you do it, if you are successful at it, you will be getting access to all the data. Still, all the data which you are using through your devices at some of the other points are collected, are processed, are stored, and are sold. There is a world of digital data platforms where you can buy bulks of data. You have seen many times in news articles, you have seen many times, you have heard from many of them that a bunch of 1 lakh users were kept on sold on darknet for so and so bitcoins. So it happens. It can be one of our data as well. Remember me, I'll just share you one email. I'll just share you one website where you can just check where your accounts anytime compromised or not. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about it, but at the end, remind me to share this link. Shall I move to the practical section?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh,
Hello, sir.
yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question. Sir, you told that Alexa and Google Assistant, this device are always listening our voice. Sir, if we have not used a keyword for Alexa, always the keyword is Alexa. For Google Assistant, hey Google. So if we have not used that keyword, then they are not able to listen
This
our
is
voice.
this is
Na?
what the mistake we make. This is what the mistake we make in understanding devices and gadgets. The reason is, let me give a simplest example. When you are not speaking okay Google, you are saying that the device is not the Google Assistant is not getting on, right? This is what you believe, but
Okay.
that's not the case. If the device is not listening, if the Google Assistant is not listening to you, how can it listen to okay Google?
Okay.
Isn't that a question?
Yes, sir.
Right. So
Okay.
these things occurs, and Google definitely have stored recordings. This is not a statement from my end, this is a statement from Google's end, that it has been collecting data of everyone's voice and recordings through the Google Assistants.
Okay, sir.
Right now we can,
If we have Alexa keep at home, then what to do for that? If it is recording our voice, then it's a problem, now. So for that, is there any
it's
solution?
a problem for whole world, and I don't think so it's that important, because we are already exploited a lot more than actually we should have been. See, because at the age of 24 years, I can say that even I have been exploited a lot more, and so the digital world has. There are a lot many concepts. There are a lot many things of. I have hundreds of news articles with me. I have cutouts of it, where I can show you cases where people were exploited in what other ways, and how can they be more secure. But again, as I said, this is a more section of IoT in place of cybersecurity. So I won't be discussing more about it. But definitely in future, when we'll be having some sessions, then definitely I'll be interested to take such a session on cybersecurity.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, great. I'll just say, I mean, for any discussions, I'm always open to all. As I mentioned, my email address and my LinkedIn ID. You are free to connect, and the discussions can be going on. The LinkedIn ID is also just with my name, Ramya Shah, and my email address is also ramya.shah@gfsu.edu.in. Okay, then I'll be moving with some practical stuffs. But before that, are you all aware with the MQTT protocol? Is anyone or everyone aware about the MQTT protocol? Uh, okay, so as you are aware, then let me directly go to its demonstration. Uh, uh, can we have just a quick vote, like how many of you are aware and how many of? Great. Let me discuss it. Let me discuss it. I'll take only 3 minutes in discussion of the MQTT, not more than that. Yeah, this is it. This is the screen. Quick. Okay. MQTT stands for Message Queue Telemetry Transport. It's built on the TCP/IP stack. Basically, this was invented and developed by IBM in 1990s, and they authorized the first version. The name's already mentioned. The first and the foremost use of MQTT was to monitor an oil pipeline through the deserts. As its name suggests, it is a messaging protocol that supports asynchronous communication. Skipping the few things because these are only theoretical, MQTT is lightweight and flexible network protocol that strikes the right balance for IoT developers. The reason is it works in the limited bandwidth, and even though there are issues of latencies, it's easy to implement. I'll be showing you how. We have minimized data packets and the low network usage is being done. It's definitely real time and it gives you real time analytics. I'll be showing how we can just at an instance we can have those on and off situations. This uses publish and subscribe architecture. We don't have client and server architecture. We have publish and subscribe architecture, which is contrast to HTTP. These are the few differences between HTTP and MQTT. Uh, as I said, this doesn't use server and client channel. It uses publish and subscribe. So you don't require you don't have to go every time to make a new connection. Once the connection is established, you can go on continuing unless you stop. Components of MQTT protocol, these are very important. Few keywords which we should be aware. One is broker. We have an MQTT broker. It's like the real world broker. जो यहाँ से वहां चीज को कंपेयर करके they take the commission in between. It's same like the broker. We have a topic. Topic is the common point where a discussion occurs in MQTT. These things are important because we'll be covering this in practical. Publish. Publish is a process where device sends a message to the broker. Subscribe is a place where a device receives a message from the broker. And message is itself the message which we are sending or receiving. This is how the communication is established. Device 1 publishes to the broker sends it to device 2 only and only if the device 2 is subscribed. Example, if you are inside a house, if some person comes to your gate and if he knocks, if you hear it, then you will be opening it to it. Or if you are near to the door, if he knocks very slowly, then and then only you will be able to hear it. So you need to be on the same topic to listen and to give. This is just a simple sketch diagram, or you can say it like a sequence diagram of it. Connect, connection acknowledgement. This is a connect acknowledgement. Then publish the temperature. It will be subscribed to the temperature / roof is the topic name. The temperature / roof is the name of topic as it's being published. So you need to publish, and once you subscribe to that same topic, you will be receiving the message. Same way, publish, you won't be receiving it, you will be only receiving the roof as there are no subscribes for the same. Client, MQTT broker client, as I already said, there can be multiple clients which are associated with the broker. Skipping it, I'll be using a Mosquitto broker. There are a lot many brokers in MQTT, but right now I'll be using a Mosquitto broker, or I can also be using, I'll also be showing you some cloud brokers, which are currently free to use. I'm not sure about the future, but yeah, they are currently free to use. Mosquitto is an open source message broker that implements the MQTT protocol. It is lightweight and suitable for use on all devices. And it can power single processor boards like Arduino and ESP8266 and many more. These are various cloud-based Mosquitto brokers. The one which I'm going to use today is the Cloud MQTT. Let me directly move to the practical. Just give me a minute so that I can move to the setup and I can show it. Just give me a minute. I'm actually connecting my cell phone also to show you the GUI of cell phone in the Google Meet. Is my cell phone visible to you all? You can ignore the notifications and all the things. They go on just coming.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So this is an application which right now I'm using. This is an application which is named as IoT. The advertisement needs to be ignored because we never use the paid versions. So that's the reason. Okay, this is a client which I have configured. I'll be showing you the working of it. But before that, I would like to show you an interface on the web. I'm sharing my entire screen so that I don't have to just switch over again and again. This is an cloud MQTT broker which I'm using. There are multiple instances which I've created. One is the my MQTT broker instance and one is an Batman. It's just a funny name and so I've kept it. There are no such restrictions of setting or giving a name. So I have used the cloud MQTT broker. It's a part of Mosquitto broker. Now here you can see the server URL. You can see the region. I have just selected the AWS region, USS. The date created was in 2019, so there are no issues for it. Now this is a username and this is the password. These are the ports, SSL ports, TLS ports. The connection limit is 5 as this is a free version. So these are the things. Now let me explain why I'm doing this thing. Where is my cell phone? Okay, yeah, here it is. So here you can see I've just moved into this Batman. Let me edit you for. Okay, let me edit and first show it to you. I have made the connection name as Batman. Now here you can see I've given the client ID IoT. I can give it any. The most important thing is like when you do it back and like after this session, when you try for doing a hands-on, why I'm using this application is I can't have physical sensors or the hardware sensors at the time of doing online lecture. So for that, this is an application which provides me hardware-based software sensors. The sensors which are present are working like the actual hardware, but those are in the software modes. So now here I've entered the port number. This is my web broker URL. I'm just going through the TCP connection. Now here, there are few additional options where I have to enter my username and where I have to enter my password. The password is already mentioned. The username is already mentioned. I have kept the connection timeout of 30 and keep alive time for 60. Moving back, let me try to connect. Let's hope that it gets connected. Okay, it's showing not authorized. Maybe the password is changed because I just refreshed it. I might be vulnerable right now, but this is not a portion which can there are some issues which I am not. Maybe I've written a wrong password. Okay, this is perfect. HLQKJTWM. Yeah, this is it. You can see the section in the top. It has been ticked now. So I've been connected authority. I've been authorized to connect to my application. Now what I can do here is right now, as you can see, I have few sensors already been added. So what I can do is I can just go to the panel. I can select any of the available sensors. You can see this. These are all those hardware sensors or the devices which we have. So here The most and the simplest always we take is the LED indicator. So let me click the LED indicator. Now here I have to write down a panel name. Let me write a panel name as what should I write? Mm, let me write it as my room right now. The topic. The topic is the one where the publisher and the subscriber will be connected on. So here the topic will be, let me keep it as light itself. Now for what will be the payload to make it on? So if I want to turn the LED on, I'll be entering 1. And if I want to turn the LED off, I'll be entering 0. The color for on will be red. The color for off, you can also select the icon which you like. You can also have a bulb in place of it. This is a bulb for on, this is a bulb for off. The color can be any. I have created this. As you can see, I have my room over here. The last one. I can edit it if I want to edit it. If I don't want to edit, it's fine. Now, what I'll be doing is, these are the various options available into the application or the web application more specifically. Here is an option. Let's see, it shows connected. Every time you come to this page, it shows connected. Now here I have to write a topic actually. So what was the topic name which I entered? It was LIGHT light. Now what the message? 0 is for off, 1 is for on. Let me click 1. If I click send. Okay, yeah, I forgot to. You can see the icon changed. Again, if I go to the topic light, now if I make it 0, you can see it turned off. Same thing goes on for all these things. Like I'm not aware about the name of the panel. It's measure. And what are the parameters? 0 to 100. Okay. So I can do the same thing. MEA measure, and I can go for 50. The gauge is at 0 right now, as you can see. Once I click send, the gauge will go to 50. You can see the timestamps. This is what the faster and the reliabilities of MQTT are actually. I hope it will be definitely useful for you to either show it out to some places or to help for some practical demonstrations of some protocols. You can capture this request. You can try to manipulate it with the words. I mean for performing some attacks using any of those MITM tools. And then you can modify the outputs which you can see on the screen. There are many sensors available, many. And this is only not the way to communicate to your cell phone using this cloud. You can also communicate the same using a command line. You have to just write down the commands in your command prompt, and any of these things can be turned on, turned off, can be moved, can be dragged. All the things can be done. So that was a small demonstration. There are a few other environments in which the same demonstrations can be done. It can be Ubuntu, it can be, a Unix environment. It can be some other environments as well. You can also have the list of received messages. When we are talking about forensic points of view, as I said, I'm being a forensic practitioner. You can have all the logs over here. All the logs, the connected client IP log, the panel names. You can see the panel name as well. You can see the username over here as well. What were the parameters can be identified from this. Everything is possible to investigate. Just the point is, you should be knowing what to investigate, how. And same way, this was like the small demonstration from my end. I think it's only 5 to 10 minutes are prevailing. So if we have some questions, we can go with it. If not, then okay, sorry. Let me just name that, show you the UI of that application. This is the application. IoT MQTT panel. You can just search for it. You can just move to it. The name of the application is IoT MQTT panel. This will help you. It's like a shape of home, which you will be able to see it. Link J.
Sir, which is the site that you said for temporary email ID?
It can be any one of those. You can just type down in Google temporary mail. You will be seeing a 10-minute mail. You will be seeing Gorilla Mail. You can see GetNada. You can see lots of them.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Let me just share the link. Here is the link of Play Store for that application. The broker which I used was Cloud MQTT. You can just download this application. It's very easy to connect. As I shared, you have to just create an instance on that Cloud MQTT website, and then you have to just use those applications to link with it. Okay, I'm sharing my details over here. So if any queries are pertaining even after the sessions, we can have a discussion. So I hope I'm done with the session, along with the trainings and all. I'm open for questions if any. Yeah, that was Visor. The Visor was for connecting, actually for displaying my cell phone's view to the system. You just have to do your Android debugging on, and you can see the view of your cell phone into your systems or your computer screen.
Are there any questions, participants? Okay. Thank you very much, Ramya sir.
Yeah, it was a pleasure for me to take this session. Thank you, everyone.
It was really informative. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, great.
Participants, those who have yet not joined the Google Classroom, they are requested to join Google Classroom because tomorrow we are going to have a quiz in the post-lunch session, in the last session, I think. And link of that quiz will be posted only into Google Classroom. So all are requested to join Google Classroom. Please do it. Okay, and we will call it a day. We are going to conclude here. Thank you all. We will meet tomorrow in the first session.